On WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. I hope you're having yourselves a tremendous morning coming off of a great weekend. I'm hoping that you got a lot of things to be happy about, proud about, and a lot of great things going on in life right now. So my best to each and every single one of you from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is here for a very, very special broadcast today, about to unveil an exclusive conversation coming up in just a little bit. So I'm very much looking forward to everything that's going to be on today's show, and I appreciate it. We'll talk about it in just a second, but not before I'll let you know that Cafe Kubal is available to you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, and 401 South Salina Street, all inside of Syracuse, as well as in downtown Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, and you can find them at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in that giant behemoth of a brown-striped building that is there for you. So make sure you make your way out there today. You can also go to their newest location in their drive-through location on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corner, so make sure you check them out there as well today and throughout the week. And thank you to Matt Goddard and the entire team at Cafe Kubal for all that they do. And a big shout out to Pat and Sue over at PB&J's Lunchbox. They're always doing great things. And on top of all the amazing things they do, they're now proudly serving Cafe Kubal's coffee on site, on location at PB&J's Lunchbox on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. So make sure you go out there today and enjoy some Cafe Kubal while you're enjoying PB&J's Lunchbox. Two of my fantastic partners working together in the community to create something really cool for all of us. So a big shout out to Pat, Sue, and Matt, and definitely make your way to PB&J's Lunchbox every Monday through Saturday. And for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they are open. So make sure you do that. And big thanks to everybody who already has. So with that being said, today's broadcast, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, plenty of great stuff coming up here where sports meets life. And I'm very excited for the opportunity that I'm going to have this morning to speak with Taj Harris. Taj and I have had the opportunity to speak over the years, and he has trusted me for the last, 3 years or so, to be able to tell his story and to tell it truthfully, to tell it honestly, to give him a place where he feels welcome and he feels that he can, obviously say the things that he needs to say. So you're not going to find this anywhere else. My conversation with Taj, I don't even know if he's talked to anybody else, but my conversation, even if he has, this is a totally different conversation. So my conversation with Taj Harris today is going to touch on what went on with him and his decision to leave Syracuse. We're also going to be discussing his transfer portal, his time inside of there, who recruited him, what the experience was like, and so much more. I'm very, very much looking forward to being able to tell the story. And listen, and I didn't expect this toward me. I guess I expected it toward Taj, but I didn't expect it toward me. The fact that some people that call themselves fans are mad at me for talking to Taj. My job as a broadcaster, as a journalist, is to tell stories. Whether you like those people or not is inconsequential to me telling the story. And what is unfair, and to me, I think just downright ignorant and disrespectful, is to be upset that I would even interview Taj. Because 3 months ago, you loved Taj. Most of the people that hate him today, that are Syracuse fans, they loved him 5 minutes ago when he was playing for Syracuse. So, I think it's ironic and kind of, I don't think it's ironic, I think it's idiotic that people want to pretend, oh, I hate Taj. Do you? Did you hate him? Did you hate him when he was catching touchdown passes? Did you hate him when he was your number one receiver? No, so stop. So before I even air this today, I need to air my thoughts and my feelings, which are on the fact that I feel disrespected. And I don't think it's fair to disrespect Taj or me because I decided to tell the story of a human being who wanted his story to be told. He came to me. He trusted me. There's nobody else that's going to have this exclusive. So I feel honored and privileged to tell his story. And if you don't like him, that's your problem. But attacking Taj, he's a human being. He made a decision. Tommy DeVito made a decision. Jarvion Howard made a decision. And there's people all over college football that have made decisions. So first and foremost, it's their decisions to make. Does it stink for Syracuse? Yes. Yeah, it stinks. Are they going to figure it out? Yeah, they will. They're 5-4. Syracuse is doing fine. Hopefully Taj is going to do fine. But to literally share with people and say, hey, I get to tell you this story. I'm so proud. You know, I'm proud that Taj trusts me. I'm proud that I have the opportunity to tell the story. I'm proud that, you know, I get to do this because I know I'm going to do it the right way, and I know I'm going to tell the truth, and he deserves that, and everybody deserves that. And then I'm looking at messages of don't listen to it, not going to listen to it, telling other people not to watch the show, not to listen to it. Don't attack my broadcast. Don't attack me because I decided to take an exclusive opportunity to sit down with someone who's trusted me for 3 years and to tell his story. Okay? Don't disrespect me and don't disrespect Taj. Because if you had a story to tell and everybody and their mother was telling your story for you, I think you'd want to tell your own story. I think you want to have control of the narrative. I think you want to at least be able to say your own words and have your own thoughts. So in my opinion, in my mind, in my heart, I'm always going to tell stories of people. I interview players on teams that you hate, right? You know, it's like, what if a Cowboy fan listens to my show and I interview, okay, how about this? I interview Rob Drummond all the time. He's an Eagles fan and an Eagles alum. There's Cowboys fans that listen to my show. Do you think that they write to me and tell me that they hate Rob and they hate the fact that I talk to Rob? I interviewed Riley Leonard, the Alabama-based quarterback that chose Duke over Syracuse, and I got asked, why did I talk to him? Because he's somebody that I've kept in touch with. Because he's someone who gets to tell his story. He didn't choose Syracuse, so what do? I throw him in the garbage? Is that what I do? Is that what I show his grandparents and his parents and his girlfriend, his friends, whatever? I open up the trash and I throw him in because he didn't choose the team that certain people wanted him to choose? Is that how we're supposed to treat people? Oh, you didn't do what I wanted you to do, so get in the garbage. Oh, Taj isn't here anymore. F this kid. Oh, screw this kid. Oh, why are you even telling his story? Why are you... This has nothing to do with Syracuse. The funny thing is, Taj and I are going to talk about Syracuse. We're going to talk about his support of Syracuse. We're going to talk about his appreciation of the true fans. We're going to talk about him wanting the team to make a bowl this season. All words coming from Taj's mouth. So, you know, it just amazes me how people want to judge somebody when they don't know somebody. You don't know Taj Harris. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's made mistakes, and we're going to talk about those mistakes today. We're going to talk about how he wears his heart on his sleeve today. We're going to get into all of that today. So for those of you that judged the broadcast before you even saw the broadcast, I pity you. I pity you. Because your small intellect has prevented you from actually seeing the fact that you have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm so sick and tired of people hurting people and people judging people and people trying to take food out of other people's mouths and disrespect. I'm just done with it. I'm supposed to apologize to you that I'm telling Taj's story because he left Syracuse. So if you're a Syracuse fan, I'm being a jerk. No. No. Let me tell you something. Syracuse is my hometown. Born and raised. I came back here to start my business. There ain't nobody in this world that loves Syracuse more than I do. That's number one. Number two, I respect Dino, and I respect this team. Do I agree with everything that gets done always? No, but that's family. We don't agree with each other, but we sit at the table, we eat dinner together, we break bread, we say grace, and we work it out. So am I going to throw Taj away? Am I going to throw 3 years of building a relationship with him away because he made a decision? No. Am I going to throw that away with Tommy DeVito? No. Am I going to throw it away with Jarvion Howard? No. Because there's people that verbally attacked Malachi Richardson when he left. Did I stop talking to him? Did I stop interviewing him? Tyler Lydon and I talked to today. Am I supposed to stop talking to him because he left Syracuse early? Am I supposed to not talk to anybody except for Jerry McNamara and Carmelo Anthony and Donovan McNabb? People have lost control of their own brain. You don't get to tell people what they can and cannot do. And if Taj Harris didn't leave here and he just dropped the next 10 passes, you'd be begging for him to leave. And then you tell me you don't want to hear his story because he drops too many passes. Well, what if somebody didn't want to hear your story? What if somebody didn't care about you or what you did for a living or who you are? What if somebody shut you out because you made a decision? What if your parents refused to speak to you and to your children because you married someone that they don't agree with? We live in a society where if one person says, I don't like it, we all got to say we don't like it. That doesn't work for me. Your boy ain't PC over here. I am a storyteller and I care about people. And that has provoked me to tell the stories at this point of, I think, upwards of 3,000 people just on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And I will continue to tell their stories, whether you like it or not, whether they support your team or not, whether they make a decision you like or not. Because fact of the matter is, you've made decisions in life that maybe I wouldn't agree with. Maybe your parents don't agree with. Maybe your neighbors don't agree with. Maybe your kids don't agree with. But you've made them. And Taj Harris came to me to tell his story. Taj Harris reached out to me 5 seconds after. He responded to me once he entered the transfer portal and everything went on. Him and I were in conversation. That is an honor that he trusts me. It is an honor that he's given me that opportunity. It is an honor that he has come to me when he has been silent with everybody else. He said he's not doing interviews, yet he did an interview here. He's doing one here with Wake Up Call. So on a day where I should wake up in the morning and feel completely honored, I will not let somebody take that from me. And I will not disrespect Taj Harris because he made a decision. I won't do that. Do I want Taj to succeed? Yes. Do I want Dino to succeed? Yes. You don't always have to choose a side, folks. I choose people. I choose love. I choose goodness. I choose understanding that I've dated women that didn't want to date me anymore. I've dated women I didn't want to date anymore. I care about them. I care about me. But it didn't work out. This marriage between Syracuse and Taj, it didn't work out. So they're moving on and he's moving on. And Syracuse is doing well and I hope he does well. He's a father. He's a dad. Cares about his kid. Cares about his son. You know? And whatever made him feel like this was the right decision, he's a dad. He's a son himself. I can't tell you everything that went through Taj's head. All I can do is share his story. If you don't want to listen to it, don't. But don't be mad at me and what I do for a living, because my job is to investigate, report, tell the truth, and open the stage to everybody. I believe in a God that doesn't shut anybody out, so I will never shut anybody out of my show. Not someone who is good and wants to speak. I ask for two things on this broadcast and two things in general. Justify your opinion and be respectful. That's it. So Taj is going to tell his story after this, and I hope that you listen. I hope that you don't judge him or judge anybody and just listen. Take it in. Because I can promise you, it's not what you think it is. And I can also promise you that following somebody off a cliff like a sheep doesn't get you anywhere. Taj Harris tells his story after this. It's exclusive to Wake Up Call. Those are his words to me. I appreciate you, Taj, for letting me tell this story, and I look forward to sharing it with everybody throughout the world. Inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, right after this fast break.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome here to a very special piece of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we're back here inside of the Cafe Cabal studios here with my guy Taj Harris. Taj and I have spent a lot of time together over the years in his time coming into Syracuse as well as this next chapter. So I'm very happy that he took some time with us here to start off this week of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So let's bring him in. Taj, how we doing?
What's going on, sir? Thank you, man.
Absolutely. And Taj, you know, this has been a journey. Let's go back to your original recruitment and why did you choose Syracuse in the first place originally?
I mean, one of the reasons why I really chose Syracuse is my mother. You know, she went up there on a trip me in Syracuse, and literally Syracuse was my only visit that I went to because it was just so good, you know. And my mother and Coach Babers and even other coaches on the staff, such as Coach Reno Ferree, there was a lot of coaches that just felt like it was a good vibe, you know. It was a family vibe, and it still is family vibes from you guys. But it was just a place that I knew I could call home, and that was one of the reasons why I knew Syracuse was a place I could be at.
And so you come into Syracuse, and you know you obviously had the opportunity to get out there onto the field right away. What was your initial feeling when you first stepped out on the field at the Dome when you started at Syracuse?
Oh, man, it was a journey, man, just like you said. But when I first stepped on the field, it was literally a dream come true, you know. My whole life I've been playing, you know, younger I've been playing up at the high school, started varsity from the beginning. So literally when I got to college, I knew I wanted to play, you know. And it was a little bit of adjustment that I had to do. I had to adjust because, you know, I was playing quarterback in high school my last 2 years. I only played wide receiver my sophomore year in high school, and that was literally the only year I ever played wide receiver. So I had to get back into the groove of that. And I mean, just being able to get back on that field though, it was just a dream come true.
You know, and for you, as we look back on your history at Syracuse, you know, playing in 2018, 19, 20, and then part of this season here in 21, you've had multiple different quarterbacks. You've experienced Eric Dungy, Tommy DeVito, Garrett Schrader. What has that been like for a wide receiver to have a bunch of different signal callers?
I mean, I believe that just made me better. Just being able to know how to adjust, knowing that football is football and anybody can go down at any time. And just knowing that you got to be able to go with things off the run. And I mean, I feel as though that kind of helped my game. Although I would have loved to be able to have a consistent QB, to get more timing, just the more rhythm and stuff like that. Because that's one thing I believe that kind of hindered my career there at Syracuse. It was like the rhythm was never never but it was plays to be made and I made them. But I feel as though me being able to play with different quarterbacks just helped me adjust, really.
And how did you kind of navigate through that? Did you have moments of strife and frustration at all, having to have a bunch of different quarterbacks and knowing that from season to season, things could change in an instant? Did that get frustrating at all? How did you deal with it?
Not at all, so not at all, sir. I wouldn't say it was frustrating, really, because all them guys ballers that you named, Eric Dungy, Tommy DeVito, Garrett Schrader, they're all ballers, and they all play differently. But at the end of the day, they all play with heart, and that's just what I needed at the end of the day. And they pushed me to be better, and I just try to push them to get better at the end of the day.
You and I have talked about a lot. We talked last season about leadership, and obviously there was the incident with the camera and whatnot. Hindsight 2020, what did you learn from that moment where you had a gesture toward the camera and it got picked up and went all over the place? What did you learn from that?
Maturity, man. At the end of the day, that's one thing I just had to learn. Like I had to realize that I'm not a little boy no more, and the cameras are rolling as I learned. But at the end of the day, I just had to learn, like, being a leader, you got to be a leader at all times. You can't just be a leader when you step in between them lines. Cameras are always rolling, people are always watching, so you got to make sure you stay locked in. And that's one thing I had to learn.
You've had moments where you've been visibly frustrated. You've taken your helmet off. You've screamed on the field before. You kind of wear your emotions on your sleeve at times. Have you always been that way? And how would you describe kind of maybe some of those moments for you? I mean, is that just who Taj Harris is? Are we just going to kind of see what you're feeling in the moment?
I mean, that's something that I actually had to work on, because I'm very, very competitive, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm not capable of. And at the end of the day, when I feel as though wearing my heart on my sleeve is something that I do, but it's something that I got to work on. When you show too much emotion, that's something that the opponents could pick up on fast, So that's something I definitely got to work on, something that I have been working on to change. But yeah, I mean, it's just the fire in me, man. I just want to be able to go out there and give it my all, every play, every second of the game. I just want to be able to go out there and put my best foot first, man.
You've had some proud moments at Syracuse. You've had some explosive plays. Is there anything that sticks out to you?
What do you mean? My career there will stick out?
Yeah, your career there. Like, do you have a play or two that really just sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I got to start off with Eric Dungy, man. He one of the reasons why I became a starter in the offense. He believed in me, man, and that's something that stuck with me since I've been here, man, because he's seen the dog in me. I knew I had the dog in me, but he let me know, like, it don't matter what stage you on. It don't matter if you're a freshman. It don't matter what it is. You gotta have to go out there and handle business, man. Eric Dungy is somebody that was a good role model for me when I first stepped there. There was a bunch of guys, though. Jamal Custis, he was a wide receiver that showed me the ropes, showed me what not to do on and off the field. Dante Strickland, another New Jersey native, man. He's a baller. He showed me, man. He showed me a lot of things. But, I mean, there's a lot of moments, man. I was on that 2018 team when we went to the bowl, man. That year was like a movie, man. But, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people there. It's a lot of people in the program that I look up to.
When you made the decision to go into the transfer portal, bring me into that timeline. When did you start thinking about it? And then bring me through when you actually made the decision. Like, what was that time period like? When did it start? And take me through that a little bit.
Well, I knew there was going to be changes in the offense, but I didn't know it was going to change as fast as it did. But I would say I started thinking about hitting a portal maybe around that second game, because I knew like at the second game, once I felt like things weren't really like, weren't panning out how I thought it would, I knew that I didn't want to waste this year eligibility. I never redshirted ever in my career. I came out playing as a true freshman, so I knew I couldn't just throw a year out the drain again, especially doing what I'm trying to do, play at the next level. So that was a big key factor that went into it. And once I knew I had to make that decision and make it happen, I just knew that's what had to happen.
What was it about the offense that in that second game against Rutgers this season, you just knew like, hey, this is not really the way that I'm going?
To answer that, sir, truthfully, it was just knowing like the situations that was going on in the quarterback room, and just knowing like what was leaning towards, because Gary Schrader and Tommy DeVito got two different ball games, not to take any away from neither of them, but I just knew it was going to be a different style of play with Gary Schrader being that guy.
For you and your relationship. Yeah, and I want to go back to your time with Eric Dungy. Such a leader, such a dog, which I believe you said, and I've said that all the way through. In my opinion, of Syracuse quarterbacks, historically, he deserves to be on Mount Rushmore for Syracuse quarterbacks. What did he leave you with? I know you said because of him you got out there on the offense, but how did he believe in you? What did he do? Like, what is his impact on your life? What's like the imprint that Eric Dungy left with you?
The imprint, man, Dungy just showed me that at the end of the day, any game could be a last game. And if you ever watched Eric Dungy play, he playing every down like it could be his last, man. And that's just something that I took with me and stayed with me. Like, when I get the ball, I'm not just trying to get a first down. I'm not just trying to complete a pass. I'm trying to take it to the house, And that's something Eric Dungy, every time he could make a play, he was just a guy that was a playmaker. But that's something that changed my game drastically.
And being in that bowl season, that 10-3, there's so many things that happened that year that hadn't happened for Syracuse in a decade, or some things 2 decades. To be a part of that history, a return to 10 wins, going to that bowl game at the Camping World Bowl, winning against an old rival in West Virginia, doing it in the fashion that you guys did it. How will that stay with you forever? That was your first season in college football.
Yes, sir. That, just like you said, that was my first season, man. And I'm happy it went the way it went, but that season was just incredible. But that showed me the work that you got to put in to be able to be that successful. It's not just about you at all. It's a team. Like you've heard before, I'm pretty sure you heard this. You're only as strong as your weakest link, And that's something that I picked up from that season at the end of the day. And I knew that you don't just walk out on that field and every weekend and become 10-2. You got to put that work in the off season. I learned that there's no such thing as off season from that season. We grinding all year round, Keep that foot on the gas.
That coming here from Taj Harris here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios. Taj, 2019, Tommy DeVito takes over the offense. His best season statistically, had over 2,000 yards passing. Granted, it wasn't the season that y'all hoped it would be. Half the wins came through. You went from 10-3 to 5-7. But what did you take away from 2019?
One thing that I really took was you can't base what you got ahead of you off of what you did before. We had a lot of guys come back from that bowl game season, but just because we had them guys come back didn't mean we were going to do the same thing. Not taking anything from them guys, because at the end of the day, all the guys put our head down and we grinded all off season, But from that season, it just showed us that like you gotta go harder. You gotta go harder, and you can't go as hard as you did the year before. You gotta go harder than that, because just like we grinding, everybody else grinding too, But that was a season that I won't forget either, man. I was balling on the other side of Tristan Jackson. Tristan Jackson is like a brother to me, man. We still in communications to this day. But yeah, that was a season to remember too, sir.
And then 2020, the team goes 1-10 during a pandemic year. Bring me into what was it like playing during the pandemic, and why did you decide to play? and just kind of from there what you took away from it. But what was it like to play during the pandemic, and why did you decide to go out there?
I mean, first off, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, pandemic football was different, but at the end of the day, to me, football is football. You know, whether there's a crowd there, there's not a crowd there. You got to go out there and give it your all. And that 1-9 was hurt. I mean, but you know, we had some guys opt out and all that. But you know, it's football. You got to make adjustments. But I mean, that season was hard on us. But I feel as though at the same time, it made us stronger. You know, all the guys that we had to rely on and keep going week in, week out. No matter if it looked ugly, you got to go out there and ball. You got to go out there and battle. And that whole opt-out thing, I never had that option. Yeah, everybody had the option and all that, but I had to go. You know, my family, man, you know, people depending on me and everything like that. Any opportunity I got to get out on that field, that's what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So that was a decision that was made before it was even thought about.
So for you, there was no chance that you were ever going to opt out.
No, sir. If we was able to play football, the pads is on.
How did you deal with Abdul Adams and Jarvion Howard, since you're a part of the offense? How did you deal with them opting out?
I mean, at the end of the day, that running back room was still filled with talent. You know, Sean Tucker, I feel as though he put up numbers. He was coming out balling week in, week out. Cooper Lutz, he was ready to step up. I remember he was playing slot wide receiver. And I remember talking to him like, bro, what do you really want to do? He telling me running back, and that's what he did. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, Cooper Lutz told me he played running back in high school, so it was nothing really new to him. So, you know, but there was definitely talent in the running back room besides those guys. So it was just about adjusting, you know, putting them guys in. It's time to make plays.
For you in this offense, to fast forward to 2021, did you ever get truly comfortable with Tommy DeVito? Like, did you feel like he was your quarterback? Did you guys have a good relationship? Did you feel like your timing was down? I mean, looking back on it, what was your relationship like with Tommy? Because as a receiver, your success is directly connected to your quarterback. So he was your quarterback more so than anybody else in your time at Syracuse. What was your relationship like with him?
I mean, Tommy's my guy, you know, on and off the field. But, I mean, on the field, I just feel as though, like, I mean, you know, every quarterback misses a throw, you know, wide receivers drop balls, you know. But I feel as though as we rolled on throughout our careers, I felt like, though, we just started clicking more and more, you know. And to be honest, this season, I felt as though if he was able to get comfortable, you know, not looking over his shoulder, I feel like he'd have turned out to be a whole different animal. You know, because that guy got a slinger, man. I'm telling you, like, he got a rocket on him, man. I know he know what he's doing, but I feel as though it was just about me and him just being able to just keep clicking and clicking and clicking at the end of the day. And you know what happened, so he wasn't really able to do that. But yeah, he was definitely able to pitch it to me.
Was your time at Syracuse this season, was it kind of, I don't want to call it doomed, but was it on the hot seat from the beginning when Dino said that he was going to play both quarterbacks? Did that kind of make you stop and think, okay, well, if there's going to be two guys out there, how do I get comfortable? I mean, how did you look at it when he came out at camp and said, we're going to play them both?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I know, like, at the end of the day, it's competition at every position, you know, on a roster, you know, at any position is going to be fighting for competition. And that's what you got to be if you want the team to be great. The best man has to play, you know. And, I mean, that's something that I actually adjusted to, really, because they was going back and forth with the ones in spring ball and in camp, you know. Yeah. So I don't really think that was really a doomer or anything like that. It was just about being able to make plays when plays was made, man.
What was the main reason for you then for leaving? Was it just the commitment of Schrader and Tucker to the run in this offense, leaning on the run? I mean, was that the reason? Was there other reasons? What, like you said in the Rutgers game, you saw that like the offense was kind of shifting and whatnot. Was it the commitment to the run that just made you think, okay, you know what, I got one more year and I can't be in an offense that's going to, lean on this because I'm a wide receiver? Was that it, or was there something else to it?
No, I don't believe that. 'Cause at the end of the day, I could go to any team and they could run the ball as much as they want, and I'm just gonna have to do what I got to do. I'm gonna have to fit in where I fit in. You know what I'm saying, sir? But to be honest, I just felt like it was more so the communication between me and the staff, you know, and I just felt like things weren't we just weren't eye to eye. And at the end of the day, if you've been in any program or anything like that, communication is key. So once communication wasn't where it was supposed to be, it was time to make a decision.
So you decide to move forward, and I want to get to your recruitment in a second, but Tommy DeVito and Jarvion Howard also make the decision. You said Tommy's your guy. What are your thoughts on Jarvion as you guys all kind of go into your next chapter? What's your take on, what you can be? Because it's kind of atypical to see a starting quarterback, a top wide receiver, and who was a number 2 running back move on, especially during the season.
Yeah, I mean, Jarvion Howard, my guy too, man. He came in with my class, true freshmen. We were freshmen together, man. And that's my guy. But I felt as though he just felt like he wasn't able to showcase his talents, and that guy's a baller. You know what I'm saying? But I just felt like he knows what he's capable of. So I think he just wanted to showcase his talents.
So we look at this now, Taj, and we look at your recruitment, and as you go into the transfer portal, and you had shared the teams that had offered you to go down this list here, Mississippi State, and which ironically is where Garrett Trader came from, Western Kentucky, Utah, Kentucky, Texas A&M, as well as the Temple Owls. Ole Miss brings you an offer, NC State inside of the ACC, Louisville inside of the ACC as well, and then you get one from Auburn. How quickly that you entered the transfer portal were you having teams reach out to you, and what are your thoughts when I read off this very incredible list? I mean, it's, to me, the teams that we're offering you are all teams that are going to obviously give you an opportunity to have a great next chapter. How quickly did you enter the portal and then teams were like, hey, let's go? Because from my point of view, it looked like within seconds they were reaching out to you.
Yes, sir. But I didn't. Of course, there was interest from guys I had seen. I got some followers on Twitter, but I didn't actually get in contact with anybody until my name was actually cleared in the portal, because I had to get that thing settled and handled and all that. But that was probably a day after I had made the post on Twitter. But yeah, as soon as I got that thing cleared, my name cleared, everything in there, things just began to roll, man. That same day, sir.
Did you? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, but what was the second half of that question?
Just for you to look at, how quickly it happened. Like you said, it happened within a day once you got cleared. But just to look back on this list of teams, I mean, these are substantial teams. These are teams that go to bowl games. There's a lot of SEC teams that are in here. I mean, this list is no slouch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I believe in myself, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know, where my talent level set, and just seeing that other people believe in me and knowing what I'm capable of, I just felt like it was supposed to happen. I'm ready to ball. I'm ready to ball at the end of the day, and I feel as though other teams understand that and know what I'm capable of doing.
So for you, once you bring me into the process of the transfer portal, because everybody talks about it, but only the players get to go into it. What is the process like when you said, okay, you know what, I'm going to transfer? Bring me into the steps you have to take, and how, and so what are the steps to get into the transfer portal? And then once you're in, how does it kind of work? Because you get to experience it and nobody else does, yet everybody's talking about it.
Yes, sir. First I think it started off with just having a conversation with the head coach and the staff, letting them know what's really going on and what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, they can help you, which Coach Baber is in the coaching staff. I'm pretty sure I've reached out to guys, and I'm pretty sure coaches that coached with them before, I've reached out to them to see what was really going on and all that. But, first I would say, you definitely got to sit down with head coach, coaching staff, let them guys know what's going on. And then you got to go to compliance and all that. get the paperwork registered. But I mean, to be honest, it's not really a long process. Once you get your papers done and everything signed and sealed in the transfer portal, that's when things begin. It's like you coming out of high school again. You know, teams get to contacting you. You have a phone call. You talk to some coaches on the staff. You might get offered. You might not get offered, and from there it just start to roll.
Did you have to kind of shake off the dust a little bit because you haven't been recruited in a few years? Like, what was that like for you to get back into that?
Nah, I mean, it was pretty much the same, you know. It just started rolling, you know. And I mean, I feel as though I got way better than I have coming out of high school. So it was just really just being there, like just learning how to just not learning, but just making sure I stayed in contact with everybody who I wanted to stay in contact with and who I want to, you know, see where I wanted to go. Because I knew as soon as I hopped in the portal, I knew one thing I wanted to do was visit these schools to see what's going on. Because like I told you, out of high school, I only went on one visit, and that was Syracuse. So this time around, I wanted to make sure I was able to see a few colleges, you know, to make sure I make the right decision. Not saying Syracuse wasn't the right decision. I just wanted to be able to do the recruiting process how I should have did it the first time.
Do you think if you had visited more schools that you would have still come to Syracuse, hindsight 2020? Like, how do you look back on that?
Yes, I mean, I believe I would have still came to Syracuse because at the end of the day, Coach Baber's offense, explosive offense, like you said, Orange is the new fast. That tempo, you know, I that was something that I loved being a part of. You know, they definitely was throwing the ball, getting it out, and was giving us opportunities to make plays. Huh?
You leave Syracuse with some more time on the clock, so to speak, but you had over 2,000 yards receiving despite all that. What does that mean to you looking back on your Syracuse career that you surpassed 2,000 yards at Syracuse?
I mean, it just showed me that, like, at the end of the day, I can make plays, and I know what I'm capable of, and I just know what I really want, and I want to be able to have a 1,000+ season, not just 2,000 yards altogether. I want to be able to have a 2,000-yard season. You know what I'm saying, sir?
Yeah, and so now you have a chance with Kentucky. Why did Kentucky get the commitment from you? Out of all the schools that reached out to you, why was Kentucky the right fit? Why are they the right fit?
I mean, for one, I want to say the coaching staff, you know, is filled with a bunch of great men, you know, and one thing I do when I get around people new or something like that, I just want to pick up on the vibes that they're giving me, you know, have good conversations. And since they started recruiting me, you know, they actually, there's some coaches on the staff that was coaching with coaches from Syracuse that's on Syracuse staff, and coaches on the Syracuse staff hit me up telling me, like, there's a bunch of good men on that staff, you know, and there certainly are. And definitely that's something that's big to me, knowing that them are people that I could vibe with, you know, people that I could talk to. And then on the other side, the football side, Kentucky offense is just something that I fell in love with, you know, just being able to go out there and see them play, just being able to sit in meetings, hear their verbiage, all that. I just feel as though that's something that I had to get into.
You said this time around, getting recruited again, you wanted to visit schools, visit more than one school. What was your list? I know that I saw that you had an Ole Miss one before you made the decision and whatnot. Who did you get to go see?
No, just Ole Miss and Kentucky. But my recruitment, like, it's not over. I'm still traveling and still taking visits. I had lost my state ID, so it was hard for me to travel. So I actually had to, like, reschedule some dates, reschedule some visits. So I think I got 3 more visits left, and I'm gonna might try to fill up all 3 of them to see what's going on, man.
So, which schools would you like to go see?
Well, I don't actually I don't know one particular that I'm going to, but I might check out a few more SEC schools.
Okay, so you're committed to Kentucky, but are you telling me there's still a chance you could go somewhere else?
I'm 100% committed to Kentucky, sir.
Okay, all right. But you're still taking these visits. Why? Just because you have the chance to, so you want to do it this time?
Yes, sir. I just want to be able to get out and see everything, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm 100% committed to Kentucky, but it's a process that I got to go through. I got to see things through, man.
So you're going to Kentucky. You got this opportunity. It's the SEC. Are you ready? You ready for that? I mean, we're talking, this is, I mean, the ACC, a lot of talent, a lot of great stuff, a lot of things I respect. I respect teams all over the country. Looking at the SEC with Kentucky, there's going to be some grand old stages you're going to be on. So are you prepared for that? Do you feel like your time at Syracuse has prepared you to step on stage at Kentucky?
Yes, sir. I believe it did, sir. At the end of the day, football is football. You got to put that work in off season. I just got to prepare myself at the end of the day. I've been to a few games, going to the Ole Miss game. Just this weekend, I went to the Kentucky-Tennessee game, and I see the difference. But, I mean, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to perform in them big crowds. You know what I'm saying? It get loud, but, I'm used to loud. Syracuse, that dome get the rocking. It's enclosed, so I'm ready. I'm ready for the noise, baby.
What do you want to say to Coach Babers as you move forward?
Coach Babers, I love him, man. I'm telling you, people say it all the time, but he's really like a father figure to me, man. He's somebody I know I could talk to at any time, any moment. I just want to tell him thank you for everything. Thank you for the opportunities, and I love you, man. He was literally like a father to me, sir.
What do you want to say to the fans, Syracuse fans?
Oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find better fans, man. Even though when I made that decision, there was a lot of trolls on Twitter, but I knew it wasn't the real Syracuse fans, man. Syracuse, man, it was nothing. I love the love that y'all showed me, man. It's still love. I walk on campus. I'm in the airport. People still know me, still saying hi, want to take pictures. It's just moving in me, and Syracuse will always be a home to me.
So we're stepping forward. This is the next chapter. You got one more season to go. What are you asking of yourself on and off the field as you go into this final collegiate chapter?
I got to stay locked in, that without a question, without a doubt at the end of the day. I know what I got to do on the field. I know what I got to do off the field. At the end of the day, I got to make sure I'm locked in at all times.
Are you a leader now? Do you feel like you're a leader now?
Yes, sir. I always been a leader. At the end of the day, whether I chose to, whether I didn't choose to, it was just about leading in the right way.
And how do you lead the right way?
At the end of the day, you got to be the example, man. You got to be able to go out there and be a leader every day. There's no days off being a leader. And the day you take off, you can't leave that to be questionable.
Taj, before I let you go, in closing here, you said, your family's obviously been a part of this process for you. How much do you involve people around you, and how much of it is you? Is it your decision and you kind of have like a cabinet of people you speak to, or do you feel like you made this decision with people? Did they have a lot of say? Was it more of you? Like what does your unit look like, so to speak, when you're trying to figure out, am I going to stay? Am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to visit? Like, who's involved in that, and how involved are they?
I would say my immediate family, that being my mother, my girlfriend. We now have a son. He was born October 8th. But, I mean, it really just my immediate family was saying it being them, because, like, at the end of the day, I want to be able to be with my family. Wherever I go, my family's coming with me. And my mother, of course she want to see me play on Saturdays, but she I got to make this decision to get where I got to get, So it's not so much them telling me where I should go or anything like that, because they support me 100%, regardless of where I go, what I do. But just being able to have my family with me, man, that's big.
You're a father. What does that do with the evolution of Taj Harris, the fact that you're responsible for another life?
I mean, it just put me in a different gear. I'm used to turning up the gears every chance I get. But, just knowing that there's a little guy, there's a little man depending on me with everything, it'll push any man to a different gear.
That coming from Taj Harris. Taj, you've been great. So the final moment of this is called rapid fire. It allows the opportunity for you to put me on the hot seat. You and I have talked for years. You've been awesome with me. You've been candid. You've been open. Doing this interview, I know, is different than what people are going to get anywhere else. And I'm honored and appreciative for you for that. So So with that being said, I'm going to let you put me on the hot seat for a trio of questions that I have to answer. So fire when ready.
Come on, man. You gonna put me on the hot seat, man?
You put me on the hot seat.
All right, let me think, man.
You can ask me whatever you want.
Do you believe my career at Syracuse? Do you think I'm overrated or underrated?
I believe, and I have believed this, I don't think we've seen the final gear of Taj Harris yet. I don't think we have. I think there's more left in the tank. I think there's more on the table, and I'm excited to see what that's going to look like.
Yes, sir. Shit, man. Oh, my part of my.
No, you're okay. You got two more questions left. We're on the internet. That's
two more. Do you believe the SEC is a harder conference than the ACC to play in?
I believe top to bottom right now, there's no question that the SEC is in a different world than everybody else. I think that you can argue that Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky. I mean, there's so many teams. A couple of years ago, I said if Florida had played a little bit better, the college football playoff could have been the SEC. It could have been Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. So I think, with Arkansas getting better, with Auburn getting back to it, with Kentucky being ranked and being a different team than they used to be in a good way, and Alabama and Georgia being who they are, and LSU will find its way back. Texas A&M is good now with Jimbo Fisher. The SEC is just, it's an incredible conference, and there's talent all over the country, and I love the ACC. I think when it comes down to the college football playoff, there's always 2 to 3 teams in the SEC you can argue to get in. So
yes, sir.
That's how I look at it. Last
questions. You think my Cuse boys gonna get to a bowl game this year?
They got 3 shots to win 1 game. So, I know that winning in Louisville doesn't happen. I know that that's an Achilles heel for the team. I know NC State's very good, and I respect the heck out of Dave Doran. And I know Pittsburgh's always a tough one, and that one's at home. So I think Syracuse, if Syracuse plays with the offense able to score the way it has been, this defense can showcase what they've been able to lean on the last couple of years, and the special teams, punting and some of these other things, and Schmidt can get back to it and all that, which I believe he can. I think that this team has what it takes to get to 6 wins, and I think that, they're in the driver's seat and they just need to take care of business.
That's right.
So that coming from Taj Harris, myself, Dan Tortora, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Taj, I hope that we're not done. I hope you and I will continue to do interviews and have open line of communication as we always have.
Of course, sir.
And I definitely appreciate you doing this because, again, I know that they're not going to find the Taj Harris story anywhere else like they found it here today. And so I very much thank you that you've trusted me to tell your story. That means a lot to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you. And whenever you reach out to me, just let me.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacted the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. We are inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal coming to you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, and 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse. Also coming your way on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse, New York at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location. Their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building welcoming you into Manlius at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and of course inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, and we thank them for all they're doing inside of Golisano's to help to save lives and to just really, have miracles every single day. God bless to the families, and may God be looking over everybody and guiding the hands of those doctors and everyone right now. So my prayers and my hopes and my well wishes to everybody that needs it right now, including those inside of Golisano. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, I want to thank Taj Harris for being a part of the show. Was with us right before this fast break inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios and got to tell his story. And I'm going to be sharing this, so you'll be able to directly get it on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. The exclusive is going to go to the homepage of WakeUpCallDT.com, and it's going to be shared on our social media, Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. So if you missed a second of it, or you just want to see it back or share it with somebody, you'll be able to get that. Again, an exclusive sit-down conversation with Taj Harris. He has not been talking to anybody, and definitely... if he said anything, has not been a half an hour sit-down conversation to hit all these topics. So I want to thank Taj Harris for being so candid, being so open, and trusting me to tell his story as he's done over the last few years. So a big thanks to Taj Harris for that, and I appreciate that. And just so the fans know, I mean, listen, Taj, I want him to do well, and I got love for him. I got love for Dino, and I want Dino to do well, and I got love for the fans, and I want the fans to see a good product. You know what I mean? I live in a world where you can love everybody, and I thought, unless I'm mistaken, that's what God told me to do and told us to do, was to love one another as you love yourself. So, I got nothing but, a hope for everybody and an appreciation and just really wishing Taj the best. I mean, we'll be talking here on the show, I'm sure, and wishing Dino and the team the best and just getting excited about what's coming up. Syracuse has been in a bye week, which, has obviously, it's tough, right? It's tough during a bye week because there's no football going. It almost makes you feel like football is like over, or that it feels like a month. I feel like a week feels like a month. I don't know if other fans feel that way, but I feel that. And being here with you right now, knowing that Syracuse is 5-4, they've won 2 in a row. We look at their ACC play, and as I've said before on the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, nobody has made Syracuse look bad in the ACC. Florida State had a last-second field goal. Wake Forest had a touchdown in overtime. Clemson was able to outlast them by a field goal, and then they defeated Virginia Tech on the road and Boston College at home. So in the 5 ACC games that Syracuse has played, it was close, win-win. There's normally we see Syracuse get blown out by somebody 50-something or whatever. Somebody just leaps and bounds better. This team did this team took over in the second half. No, and I understand Clemson's having a down year, but Wake Forest is a really good team, and Syracuse pushed them to the bitter end. Clemson, 3-point game. DJ Uiagalelei and that team is still talented despite their struggles. And Florida State, I mean, that was a team that they had really had the number of going back and forth. The whole game they were able to respond, and then in just a couple plays at the end with Jordan Travis running on the ground, and that was it. That's what happened. So Syracuse has 3 more games. They're 5-4. They need 1 more game to become bowl eligible with 6 wins, but obviously that's not where you want the team to stop. If you're 5-4 and you got 3 more games to play, then you want to be 8-4. You don't want to be 6-6. So they have to win 1 to become bowl eligible. All of these games are going to challenge the Orange. You can be sure that Isaac Alford, who has signed on to work with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media and Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, that he will be joining me for some thoughts on these games at Louisville on November 13th, which is this coming Saturday at noon Eastern Time, on the road at NC State, who's ranked in the top 21 in the country. On November 20th, on a Saturday, that game's time is to be announced still, and then the time is going to be announced as the last home game, Senior Day, for Syracuse when they face off against top 25 ranked Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh will be coming into town on November 27th, right after Thanksgiving, a couple days after Thanksgiving. So Syracuse has a shot within the next 2 weeks to become bowl eligible on the road at Louisville, where they really never have success, at NC State, who's a strong team and has been a strong team, and against Pittsburgh, who's defeated the likes of Tennessee and done some good things this year. So Syracuse has 1 game they need to win, 3 games on the schedule, and all of them create their own challenges, with Syracuse having struggled against NC State and Louisville on the road at Louisville, like I said, which is consistently been an issue for the Orange, and Pittsburgh, who have been an Achilles heel for Syracuse. Whether Pittsburgh is playing them in a close game, 17-16, or playing in a basketball game in the 70s and the 60s, it's always seems to come, the Pittsburgh games always seem to be tight, and they always seem to be frustrating for the Syracuse Orange. So I can't imagine that this season is going to be any different as far as this rivalry creating some excitement, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And obviously Syracuse getting ready, hopefully got healthier, knowing that they had some time to kind of take a little break and get better, get back with it, get on the mend as they've had this bye week. And it took a long time for them to get bye week, 9 straight games before having a bye week. And for everybody it's different. Some teams might have it 3 weeks in, some teams might have it 5. Last year, the ACC offered 2 bye weeks, which I thought was great. this year won, and Syracuse got it in week 9. So happy that they finally got their bye week. Hopefully it's helped them to get on the mend, to get better. Staying with college football, though, and we'll get plenty into Syracuse this week, but staying with college football, taking a look at what's going on. The coaches poll in the AP came out, and you know how I feel about the top 25 rankings and how they pander to certain places. Well, I definitely feel that way has continued here. Georgia, Cincinnati, Alabama, and Oklahoma have not moved in the AP. In the coaches poll, Georgia stays. Alabama went above Cincinnati, despite the fact that Alabama lost to an unranked team and Cincinnati beat Notre Dame and hasn't lost to anybody. And Oklahoma stayed at 4. Now, Oregon is above Ohio State in the AP, which makes perfect sense, as they should be. Both teams are 8-1, and Oregon won the head-to-head game. However, in the coaches poll, they think Ohio State's better than Oregon, so they flipped that. Notre Dame is 7th for no apparent reason. And Michigan State, after losing to Purdue, let me say that again. Michigan State, after losing to unranked Purdue, is still in the top 10. They dropped 3 spots. They're number 8. They're number 8 in the AP. They're number 9 in the coaches poll for no reason. Michigan is still in the top 10 at number 9 in the AP, and they went up 2 spots in the coaches poll to number 8. Total BS, in my opinion. And I'm not saying this because it's Michigan or Michigan State. I'm saying this because looking at their schedule, who they've played, what's happened, and if Cincinnati lost to an unranked team, they would drop out of the top 10. Michigan State drops 3 spots. Boo freaking who. Wake Forest dropped 3 spots as they take their first L of the season. Wake Forest 8-1. They're 13th in the AP, and in the coaches poll, they dropped 4 spots to 13. So they're 13 in both polls. This has given the committee everything they need to take them out of the college football playoff conversation that they were never going to be in. And I don't say that as me personally attacking Wake Forest. I say that as what I think the committee is going to do. I respect Wake Forest. Go back and check the tape. I've been talking about Dave Clawson for years. I've constantly banged the drum that Dave Clawson is a good coach. He was given time to build the program, something Scott Schaefer never had. You know, I have consistently spoken about Dave Clawson and my positivity and my respect toward Dave Clawson and Wake Forest. They were never going to be in the college football conversation. Not because they don't deserve to be, but because the college football playoff was never going to let them in. Because they're only going to let in Clemson from year to year. And Clemson's having an off year, so they're not going in. But they made it pretty clear to the ACC. Either Clemson gets in or nobody gets to represent you. Maybe North Carolina down the road somehow, if Mac Brown can get back on the winning side of things and be consistent, because of his clout and his connection, that I honestly think, and I like Mac Brown, I'm just saying, knowing how the college football playoff from the outside in seemingly looks like it works, Mac Brown would have a lot of clout. Dabo Swinney has a lot of clout, right? I don't think Dave Clawson has given the respect that he deserves, and I thought that every season you're supposed to base the college football playoff on the teams that year, not on years prior, not on money, not on boosters, not on movies, not on records, not on this, not on alumni, but just on the season and the task at hand. However, that's not the case. Dave Clawson doesn't have the respect from the college football playoff. Now that he's lost a game, now they have the reason to not let him in, but they weren't going to let him in anyways. And I think he knows that, and it's very unfair. Besides that, UTSA goes up a spot in the AP to number 15, but they got no love in the college football playoff last week. We'll see if their rankings change anything. And UTSA went up 2 spots to number 16 in the coaches poll. They are 9-0. The teams that are still undefeated, Georgia of the SEC, Cincinnati of the American Athletic, Oklahoma of the Big 12, as well as UTSA, who is currently of Conference USA, and that's it. So you got 4 unbeaten teams left in America. You have 2 that get respect and 2 that don't. You have Georgia and Oklahoma, and then you have Cincinnati and UTSA. So I'm excited to see what these teams can do, and definitely excited to see. I'm hopeful that somebody with some type of heart and some type of... I just hope that people... I mean, if you're going to rank something, then rank it. You know, rank it based on this season. You can't tell me that in prior years where the college football playoff committee has seen the AP have the top 4 that they've dropped a team out of the top 4. They wouldn't drop Alabama out of the top 4. They wouldn't drop Georgia out of the top 4. But Cincinnati's 2 in the AP, 3 in the coaches poll, and they're 6 in the college football playoff. They've won again. They do what they're supposed to do. And the other teams that they're ranking high, outside of like the Georgias of the world, they're not blowing anybody out. Cincinnati blew out Miami of Ohio, blew out Murray State. This is stuff that Alabama would do. They beat Indiana on the road by double digits. They beat Notre Dame by double digits on the road. They blew out Temple. They blew out UCF. They won by 7 over Navy in their closest game of the season. They defeated Tulane 31-12, and they just defeated Tulsa by 8. They got 3 more games. Well, they're not against ranked teams. Yet Notre Dame doesn't play ranked teams either. Oh, I'm sorry. They played a ranked team, Cincinnati, and they lost. So, folks, the college football playoff poll was BS when it came out for its first week. But the coaches poll and the AP poll were somewhat reputable. Somewhat. But now they're losing any sense of, to me, how can I respect Michigan State staying in the top 10, going from 5 to 8 in the AP poll when they lost to an unranked team? Michigan State has played all unranked teams except for Michigan, who was ranked way too high. They beat one ranked team, Michigan, who was ranked way too high, and they beat everybody else except for Purdue, and none of them are ranked. So you beat unranked, and this is top 10? And what are they saying about Cincinnati? Well, they don't play any ranked teams the rest of the season. I'm sorry. Did we not just have the same conversation? Michigan State has beaten unranked teams and then lost to an unranked team. Cincinnati's beaten unranked teams and then beat a ranked Notre Dame in South Bend on the road. Head-to-head, every argument you have for Michigan State is BS because it's null and void when you talk about Cincinnati. It's what I said last year about Ohio State and Cincinnati. 2 teams in the same state of Ohio treated differently. Well, Dan, the history. I don't care about the history of Ohio State. I care about right now. Right now. Because if we're talking about history, then the NCAA tournament should have Syracuse in it every single year. Boeheim shouldn't have to play a damn game. He shouldn't have to do a thing. If we're basing it on history, then Dino Babers should have a top 25 ranked team every year. Because Ernie Davis, Jim Brown, Larry Zonka, Joe Morris, Donovan McNabb, Floyd Little, Marvin Harrison, Kevin Johnson, Keith Bullock, Chandler Jones, Arthur Jones, on and on and on and on and on. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't make an argument for somebody and then not make that argument for somebody else and then say that that's your argument because you're a hypocrite. And the committee is obviously really good at hypocrisy. Greg said, Pitt at home, likely the toughest of the 3 games, despite being the last scheduled game and at home. I'm confident we will get a win somehow, some way in these next 3 games. Greg, I believe this team can do it, but they struggle at Louisville. So that's a really, really tough game. Louisville, it doesn't matter if Louisville's ranked. It doesn't matter if they've won 1 game, 4 games, 8 games, 12 games. Syracuse struggles when they're on the road at Louisville. They always do. So, I just, that's a game that I really think is tough. And NC State is I don't understand why people don't respect NC State. Do you not see what Dave Doran's done? Do you not see that not only is he successful, but he pushes Clemson. When Clemson's great, he pushes them to the brink. This year, he beats them when they're a little bit down. And he sends guys to the NFL consistently. Like, Dave Doran is a really, 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 really successful coach. And yet people are never that concerned about NC State. And I don't understand why. I really don't get it. So, every one of these next 3 games is going to be a really tough game for Syracuse to win. You want to beat Louisville? Any one of these games. You got to get out early and you got to hold on. At Louisville, Syracuse needs to just we talk about history not mattering. Shouldn't matter with these polls. It should just matter the here and now. Don't let history matter when it comes to your games at Louisville. Because Syracuse's team can't look back and say, wow, we've never won here, or, our seniors haven't won here, or Syracuse hasn't done this in this many years. It doesn't matter. You're playing Louisville. You're 0-0. You're 0-0 right now. All you got to be is 1-0 this Saturday, November 13th. So, Louisville's a really tough place to play. Dave Doran's a hell of a coach. Pat Narduzzi's a hell of a coach. And it's going to be a very, very interesting run here as we get set for these next 3 games for Syracuse. But I'm excited to see them, and I'm excited to share that with you. We're going to jump off the field and head to the hard court right after this fast break, as I'm joined by Bryan Kersey, the ACC coordinator of officiating for men's basketball, right after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're fully in November right now, which is insane. We're just a few weeks away from Turkey Day. So what is it? This Thursday, we're 2 weeks away, I believe it is, from Thanksgiving, which is crazy. Yeah, Thursday the 11th, and Thanksgiving's on the 25th this year. So crazy that we're already spinning into holiday season, but also exciting, and I hope you're all doing well. A lot of great stuff coming up here. This is the beautiful time of year where basketball and football cross each other, and I get to be really, I get to, you get to feel that craziness of having a football game and then going to a basketball game, and then there's another basketball game, but then there's a bowl game. So it's always exciting. I love it. It's called controlled chaos is what I like to call it, and I'm very much looking forward to everything that's coming. Syracuse still has an opportunity to become bowl eligible with a lot of other teams around the country. And, of course, Syracuse will begin officially their 2021-2022 men's and women's basketball seasons coming up here. So on the men's basketball side, in the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, coordinator of officiating for men's basketball is Bryan Kersey. And Bryan is here with me today. He's joined the show plenty of times. And just a couple weeks ago, we were in Charlotte together. We had an opportunity to see each other's face for a second there and catch up for a moment. And now we have the opportunity to catch up with you here on site, on location inside the Cafe Kubal studios. And I'm very excited to be able to do this with Bryan, because Bryan is a consummate professional. He's always been good to me, always makes sure he makes time for the show. And he's somebody that is overseeing so much when it comes to whoever your team may be. I mean, that's the beauty of this with Bryan Kersey overseeing the ACC. That means that all you fans out there of Syracuse, Duke, North Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Notre Dame, FSU, Miami, Louisville, BC, Pitt, Clemson, all can get something out of this conversation with Bryan. So with that being said, let's bring him into the show. Mr. Kersey, how are we doing today?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing very well. And, you know, it's great to have you on. It's great to have you back here where sports meets life inside the Cafe Kubal studios. What was Charlotte like for you? I know you and I got a couple seconds together, but what was it like to be in Charlotte and to see the media back there again? I mean, obviously, with outside of wearing masks when we're walking around and whatnot, it felt pretty normal out there.
Yeah, it felt good. It felt real good. It afforded me the opportunity to see all of our coaches as well. It let me see all of you guys, you know, for the first time in a long time, face to face. So, I mean, I think a lot of good came out of it because it did feel normal with the exception of the masks, of course. But, you know, we take what we can get in this day and time. And I had a great time while I was there. Of course, it was rushed and quick. And, you know, it's one day to do as much as we can. It was good. You know, the night before there was a reception. I got to mingle with a lot of the coaches as well and administrators. So, I mean, I got to see some of our players, which is always good. You know, the day is for them.
Yeah.
And I think that is definitely what came across from that trip to Charlotte.
Yeah, you know, and it's great to be, you know, in Charlotte. Charlotte's just, it's a wonderful city. And it's a beautiful place, the Queen City. I mean, I've fallen in love with it over the years here, and I'm spending, I want to say, at least 8 years, probably more than 8 years. I've been over there, almost 10 years that I've been in the Charlotte area covering the ACC, and it's a beautiful place. It's a very welcoming place. What do you think about the city of Charlotte and what it's meant to the ACC?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, the tournament, the tournament there is fabulous. You know, all of the Operation Basketballs or Operation Tip-Offs have always Charlotte's opened their arms for us to come in, and we have some other events there. I can remember refereeing North Carolina and Davidson in Charlotte, you know, on a weekend game. Back in the day, you know, we have a big Hall of Fame event there in Charlotte in December with a triple header, basically. of a lot of our schools. So, I mean, it's a great town that has been very good to the ACC, and we enjoy going there.
That coming from Bryan Kersey this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, the ACC coordinator of officiating for men's basketball. Bryan, what are you looking at the most going into this season as the coordinator of officiating for men's basketball? What's top of mind right now?
Travel. I need these planes to take off. I need our guys and gals to get to where they're going. I mean, it's just different. Travel now that we've been through COVID, it's different with vaccination requirements and stuff like that for pilots and flight attendants, people that work for the airlines. It's just, I'm waiting for tomorrow to get here to make sure everybody takes off and lands. And then I'm waiting for an exciting season because I think that, I've seen some of our schools. I've talked to all of our coaches. I think they're all excited about the teams that they have, with the transfer portal and the extra COVID year. It's helped a lot of the teams, and I think it's going to be very, very exciting for our fans going into this season just to sit back and watch, what happens when these teams get out on the floor. We have 13 of our teams playing tomorrow, and I look forward to all 13 games.
Yeah, and I was just looking at that schedule. Everybody's playing a home game, which I think is really cool of the majority of the ACC getting involved. North Carolina will host Loyola, Maryland. Syracuse has Lafayette. Pitt has the Citadel. Clemson has Presbyterian. Georgia Tech has Miami of Ohio. Miami has Canisius. NC State has Bucknell. Virginia Tech has Maine. Boston College has Dartmouth. Virginia has Navy. Louisville has Southern. And Duke has Kentucky. Nobody's playing a ranked team except for Duke and Kentucky. And so that'll be obviously interesting in and of itself at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Your thoughts about the fact that not only is the season officially starting this week, but almost every single one of the ACC teams, as we've spoken about, is starting on November 9th?
Yeah, it makes it, it's great for our fans. It really is. It's one of those nights that a lot of people circle on their calendars to sit down and watch, especially with all the streaming services, stuff like that are out here now that people can sit back and pretty much watch any team that they want to watch in our league. And I think it'll give everybody some type of indication what we have, regardless of who we're playing. I think, the 9:30 game, I think, will be very exciting for everybody. But I also think that, we have fans in this league, you have fans for every team that we have that just sit back and love to watch the ACC play. And I look forward to doing that with them. I will not travel tomorrow because of the number of games that we have, not only in the ACC but across the Alliance, and just sit back and enjoy seeing, really just watching games with fans in the stands. And I look forward to them getting to enjoy it again, and the players that make up this league getting to enjoy, their home fans sitting there rooting for them.
Yeah, and can you, Bryan, for those that don't know, can you speak on the Alliance a little bit here and just what that consists of?
The Alliance has grown. It's, John Cal and myself, he is the supervisor officials for the Big East. When I got this job, which this will be my 6th year, we formed an alliance that also includes the MEAC, the Patriot, the Ivy, the Northeast Conference, the America East Conference, the MAC. There's 11 leagues, and the Colonial, the Big South are in there as well, and the Atlantic 10. And we also have a Division II league, the Northeast 10, that makes up our alliance. And we have other supervisors that do a great job. We all work together in this. Larry Rose, who was a longtime ACC official, oversees the MEAC. Jack Sweeney oversees the Northeast Conference. Gary Prager, who was a longtime Big East and ACC referee, oversees the Patriot and the Ivy. And Michael Stevens, who has come off of the floor now, oversees the MAC and the America East. John Cal is very hands-on with and he and I are pretty much hands-on with all of the leagues, but we're very much hands-on. He's very much with the Colonial. I oversee a lot with the Atlantic 10 and the Big South, and we move referees throughout. It gives them, our less experienced guys, an opportunity to work with some of our experienced referees that have been around for a long time. It's a chance for us to see, who can move up throughout the years, which we have moved up referees within our alliance from league to league and giving people opportunities. It's a huge training ground for the ACC and the Big East and the Atlantic 10, and we bring people through, and it's fun to watch less experienced guys move up and get that opportunity, which they will get, starting tomorrow. And we hope and we feel like they will, do great, but you never know because the arena of the game is such a huge makeup on this. We know they're prepared. It's just you can't prepare anybody for walking into, say, St. Bonaventure, who is, ranked, in the top 25 and has a tremendous team back, and how, a less experienced official is going to do walking into an environment like that. And, we look forward to that and look forward to watching it and look forward to the growth of these officials as they continue to learn every day.
And Bryan, for you talk about growth and whatnot, but why have this alliance? Why have this alliance? Why have it be so big and, so vast, really stretching across America? Why do you feel like there was a need for it, and what do we benefit, by having something like this?
It's a huge benefit because it gives us great depth in our rosters and all of our officiating staffs. It gives us a chance to look at referees not only in a camp environment but in a actual game environment. So we can bring officials in at an early age into, some guys that have worked, very good Division II schedules and have worked some Division I games, minimal times, but we can give them opportunities to advance, and it gives them a light at the end of the tunnel, and it gives them, the chance to know, hey, I can do this, and I'm going to actually get to referee with some of the veterans that are out there now, because we do a lot of training. We do have, training platforms that we use throughout the year. We have training videos. They get all of this information into them. Stu Jackson and Paul Brazo. Stu is with the Big East, and Paul is of course, with the ACC. Help form all of this, and the commissioners of all of these leagues are tremendous people and advocates for us, and giving us all the resources we can ask for, whether it's, replay systems, whether it's, training systems, training platforms, whether it's money to bring all of our veterans to camps, to teach these guys, whether it's bringing some officials to camps, separate individual situations of camps that come up, and our officials get better, our veterans get better by teaching, and our less experienced officials get better by learning. And, some of the guys that are in the middle, they're not the top Final Four or regional final or semifinal officials. They get an opportunity to be crew chiefs in leagues, and it gives them leadership skills, and it helps us all around. The Alliance has been tremendous for officials' advancement, and allows them to become known nationally, not just regionally.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome to, really see this working together, this coming together, what an alliance can be, and how you can help one another out, and the experiences you can get, and the different places you can be a part of if you're an official. It really just, improves the resume and opens a lot of doorways for you. You mentioned the Northeast 10, that you have all these Division One conferences, but you also have the Division II Northeast 10, which has Franklin, Pierce, Stonehill, St. Anselm, Assumption, Bentley, St. Michael's, Southern New Hampshire, Adelphi, American International. New Haven, Pace, St. Rose, Southern Connecticut, and of course, right there in my hometown and down the road from Syracuse, Lemoyne, with Lemoyne College. What made the Alliance bring in a Division II conference in the NE10? Why do you see? I know Merrimack jumped from the NE10 into Division I and has had success there, but what was the reason why you have all these Division I conferences and you also have a Division II conference in the Northeast 10?
Well, we have such a huge presence in the Northeast, with Boston College, Syracuse, of course, and then some of the Big East schools and all of the other leagues in the Alliance. And we have found that if we bring somebody into the Alliance from the Northeast 10 and we give them some Division I games, but we can also give them more games in a leadership position in the Northeast 10 to give them that opportunity to learn down there as well. So their schedules get better. They work more, see more plays, have the opportunity to, because of the plays that they do get to see, they do get to clip plays, send them in. We get to clip plays as we watch some of their games and discuss them with them. It's just been a great marriage, I guess is probably a good word, because it's a great training area for us, and we draw a lot from that. We have moved quite a few officials out of the Northeast 10 into the Alliance to work, games, and some of these guys have advanced already up into the Atlantic 10, and a couple of them are actually now that work in the Northeast 10 are actually working in the Big East or the ACC. So, it's been tremendous. Michael Stevens was a supervisor and still is a supervisor of that league. So we knew going in that he was going to buy in with us and teach the same teachings we're teaching. We want everybody to learn the same way. We know everybody's not going to have the same officiating style, but we want them to know the game the same way, positioning, play calling, not having blind look whistles, everything like that, where we don't need to tell them how to stand or how to move. We want them to have their own style when they referee, but we want the game called the same way, and this has helped us tremendously with that.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome to have continuity. And people talk about fairness, and when it comes to officiating, it's always something that's brought up. But if you have this alliance that, like you say, you want them to be themselves, but you want everybody to have the same information at hand, and basically, everybody has the same handbook, and then we see how they utilize it. I think it's awesome to see this, that if there is, if everybody's got the same information, everybody has the same tools at their disposal, then there's a hope that things will be called more fairly across the board, and that we'll see continuity. We'll see something that looks the same. We go to watch a Big East game, we watch a Northeast game, watch an NE10 game, watch a Big South game or an ACC game. The hopes that the officiating will look seamless, will look, obviously it's human. There's not going to be perfection, but there will be a sense of paralleling and things being called that are being seen the same way. Because if, that's the hope. You put everybody in the classroom, right? All your students are going to learn differently. Some students are going to understand things, some aren't. But if everybody's got the same curriculum, the hope is at the end of the day, we can, hopefully see these officials all understand the algebra that they're learning, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Correct, and it does. It's the great thing about the Alliance are number one, of course, the commissioners of the league, and then the people that are in positions like Stu and Paul are in, that have all helped create this, and all the supervisors, Gary and Jack and Michael and Larry and Johnny and myself work very close together. We'll send emails out every Monday to all of our officials that all of our supervisors will have input in, and it allowed they create watch lists from their leagues for John and I to look at, and these guys are the ones that get the opportunities. And I just think that officials coming in realize the magnitude and the size of the alliance, and you could live in New York and have a game at Charleston Southern, because then it teaches them how to travel. It teaches them how to book hotels and flights. They might have to go the next day to Elon, in the Colonial, and it teaches them how to get from there. It regionalizes how we can assign. We can send somebody to Philadelphia and they can stay for, 3 or 4 days. We can send somebody to Atlanta and they can stay for a while. Same with Raleigh and Charlotte. It helps our officials to be able to stay in hotels, for longer periods of time, which allows them, to be able to look at more plays. It allows them to learn every single day. And it allows our less experienced to contact on a mentorship program to the veteran officials asking about plays and stuff like that. So it just gives them more time to make their craft better, and it gives them the capability of more resources.
Yeah, and in life in general, you can never have enough resources, and so it's good to have something like that. Speaking here with Bryan Kersey, ACC coordinator of officiating for men's basketball, you said you had some opportunities to speak with coaches, in Charlotte as we're going into the tip-off of the season, and that was the tip-off event. There's some sense of normalcy, and there's some change, and there's a lot that's kind of going on. I mean, we look at the long-tenured coaches in the ACC. We look at Brad Brownell has been with Clemson since 2010. We look at Coach K has been with Duke since 1980. Leonard Hamilton with FSU since 2002. And we look to Mike Bray with Notre Dame since 2000. Jim Boeheim with Syracuse since 1976. And Tony Bennett with Virginia, since 2009. So, when I speak on these coaches, what can you say about the long tenured ones when we're looking back, at the tip off and your opportunity to spend some time with the coaches? When I mentioned the Brad Brownells and the Coach K's and the Leonard Hamiltons and Jim Larinaga, 2011 with Miami, as well as Mike Bray, Jim Boeheim, Tony Bennett, what comes to mind when I speak on the coaches that have represented the ACC for a long time?
I think trust and respect are probably two of the words to use, because I refereed for all of those guys, and now I'm in this position. They're very supportive of what we're doing. Of course, we're going to have misplays. They understand that. We have to minimize those misplays, and we have to be able to figure out why they were missed, and we move forward. There's not going to be a perfect game play. There's not going to be a perfect game coach, but these guys have been in this league, and they know how our officials feel about this league. They know I love the league. This is basically my 33rd year being affiliated with the league, and it's just respect across, not only within our league, but respect across the country, because these guys have stayed here and built programs. Not only have they built teams, but they built programs, they built culture. We've built culture on the officiating side. They have seen that. They believe in it. And, we form relationships between officials and coaches now, which is something that has changed. The coaches know these officials by face. Now, of course, we have, newer ones come through every single year that they have to get to know again, but then they'll see them, on TV. They'll see them, in different situations, and it's made for a big trust agreement between all of us. So, I just think I love all those guys. Do they get upset at times? Absolutely. Do they have a right to? Absolutely. And we just have to minimize the times that we create the issues as officials and move forward from all of those.
Bryan, for you, and like you said, you love all those guys, and you have a connection with them. Roy Williams, it was, I remember we had to be Zoom everything, and it was the ACC tournament this year, and I was on the Zoom with Roy Williams, and I asked him a question, not knowing that was going to be the last time I would ask him a question as the head coach of North Carolina. how are you dealing with having these close relationships with these gentlemen? How are you dealing with the fact that Roy Williams decided, kind of maybe to the shock of many people, that he was done at North Carolina, and then Coach K saying, "Hey, I'm going to be done after this season. I've already put a plan in place. Here's going to be the new head coach of Duke." How are you dealing with that? Knowing that Roy Williams is not on the sidelines right now, and won't be, and that Coach K is on the sidelines, but there's a timetable for his departure from Duke as the head coach. How are you dealing with that as someone who's obviously gotten to know these gentlemen over so many years?
Well, the thing about both of those Hall of Fame coaches is they, as I said earlier, they built programs, and these programs are going to last and be very, very high caliber for a very long time. Hubert Davis comes to the head coaching position as number one, a former player there, and number two, an assistant coach there. So he and I had a relationship prior to him being named the head coach, and that relationship will continue. I don't know if you can replace, I don't think you look to replace a Roy Williams or a Mike Krzyzewski. I think that you come in and want to establish your own identity and continue the program that keeps going. Same with John Shire, who is going to take over at Duke for Mike Krzyzewski. It's still a great program, which, eventually a lot of these coaches will retire, but I can't reiterate enough, the programs that these head coaches that are there now have built will last a long time because of the optics and respect that this league gets. And Hubert will do great. John Shire will do great when his time comes to be in the head coaching chair, because the programs have been established and built and will continue to go on.
And seeing this, some of the newer coaches, the coaches that have spent new to the ACC, spent a few years there or just coming in. We look at Josh Pastner back in 2016 coming on to Georgia Tech, as well as what we've seen come in with Mike Young at Virginia Tech in 2019, Jeff Capel III with the Pitt Panthers in 2018, Kevin Keats in 2017 with the NC State Wolfpack, Chris Mack with the Louisville Cardinals in 2018, and then in 2020, Steve Forbes with Wake Forest, and this year, Earl Grant with Boston College. What can you say about the newer faces of the ACC for men's basketball coaches, and how have you worked to build relationships, especially with like you mentioned, Hubert Davis, who took over this year for Roy Williams at North Carolina, and Earl Grant with Boston College, and Steve Forbes with Wake Forest. Some of the new faces, but within the last 5 years, how have you worked to build these relationships, including the ones that maybe you were still just starting to build in Charlotte this year?
Well, I think that they bring a different energy to our league. They bring a different style of play. Kevin Keats came in with a 94-foot, ability to guard, and a very high intensity at NC State. Josh Pastner has his own energy on the sidelines, as we've all seen with his cards, calling plays. It's a different type of energy that they bring. And again, I was fortunate to referee all of these guys that have come in. I refereed Josh when he was at Memphis. I refereed Kevin when he was coaching at UNC Wilmington, and he was assistant coach at Louisville. Chris Mack when he was at Xavier. Earl Grant when he was at Charleston. And they built great programs and came in day one with the respect of not only the other coaches in the league, but with the officials. And I think that helps. I think that helps a tremendous amount. These schools hire coaches that come in that have already gained respect, not only, within the ACC, but nationally. And they will build programs. Again, they will build their own style. I think it's been great dealing with every one of them. Steve Forbes at Wake has been tremendous to me since he got here, and as well as all of these other guys have. And we all talk. We all sit back and talk about plays, but we also talk about just normal life stuff. And I think that makes, our league different than some other leagues where we can have these conversations. I saw them all there. Some of the conversation revolved around basketball when we were in Charlotte, and some of it was just, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And, we talked about all of that. So I just think that, the energy level of the league right now is very, very high, not only within, our own league and when they start playing each other, but, these other schools that are coming in know who they're playing, know what they're getting into, and know it's going to be a fight every night because all of our schools are tremendously coached, and the players have just go out there and play as hard as they can. And, our officials have to be ready for that every single night. We tell them every night, get ready from the opening toss. And that's usually how it works out.
Bryan Kersey here with us, ACC coordinator of officiating for men's basketball. Bryan, what are you looking at kind of in closing here? What's top of mind as far as anything in the game itself that's maybe sticking out to you at this point? A rule that's maybe happened recently, a rule that's maybe happened over the last couple of years that you think you're still navigating through. What are the bullet points that are kind of on that sticky note on your desk right now for this season? What are the things that you're still trying to either figure out or that you're trying to clarify as we go into this? Because I know fans always have questions on certain things, or maybe see something a certain way, coaches see something a certain way, players see something a certain way. So what's top of mind right now when it comes to officiating?
Well, I think two of the main points that we're driving through this year are post-play and rebounding. I think we have to do a better job of that. I think we have to get set up quicker so that we can call the first foul in the post so we don't miss something. Also on rebounding, we have to get, lower for our two outside officials to be able to referee that without having to see a closed look. And I think also on guards going to the basket and the defenders making sure that they're legal and that they don't stiff arm somebody just to slow them up for a second, because the spacing of our game is so good right now that just one impede, whether or not it's in the post or a guard going to the basket and a defender stiff arming very, very quickly. It could be for 1 second, it could be for 2 seconds. But it slows it down, and it slows down the play that they're trying to run. Those are the three, bullet areas that will be sent out today to our officials to make sure that they are in position to referee all of these plays, because our guards are so quick and our bigs are so strong that we can't allow them to be displaced or impeded when they're making their moves to the basket. And then lastly would be jump shooters being able to land, because, we have so many problems with, players getting hurt, coming down on somebody's foot because a defender doesn't let them land. So our officials have to stay with those plays, until the shooter comes down, so that we make sure that we have these taken care of, because we have some very, very good shooters in our game. You have one right there in Syracuse that's top in the country in three-point shooting, and Buddy Boeheim, and we have to make sure that if they go to the ground, we have to know how they got to the ground.
Yeah.
And if they get injured, we have to know how they were injured, so that we're not trying to make something up or to allow a player to miss games because of something that we missed.
Yeah, and I think, too, with the amount of fouls that are called and the way that things, kind of feel at this point, do you feel that there's a freeness of it, or is there, from the officiating point of view, from when you were, on the court to now overseeing it as a coordinator of officiating, do you think it's a lot harder now to create contact that is just honest contact and just kind of the run of the game, the physicality of the game. Have we lost the physicality of the game? Do you feel that we can still have clean blocks and somebody putting a body on someone who's just playing proper defense? I mean, have we lost some of the art of basketball? Can we get that back if we have? I mean, how do you view how the game used to be and the physicality of it, and can we still be that physical without creating a game that's got a whistle being blown every 5 seconds?
I don't think we can go back to where we were 5 or 6 years ago with post play, especially. I think post play 5 or 6 years ago was very, very physical, and we had, you had post players posting up, getting the ball, and they could bump into a defender as hard as they wanted. And if the defender stood up, then we just let it go. But, now these guys are so strong that one of those bumps is going to knock the defender back 2 or 3 feet. They've gotten so good at, 4, 5, 6 foot jump shots from our bigs. So I think we have to control that and not allow that to happen. And the same with the guards, because, if you watch a lot of our guard play, our guards are very good at jump shots, at the elbow and at the free throw line area. A lot of our shots now by guards are either they dribble and they dish, or they dribble and they pull up at the free throw line and shoot a jump shot. We have to allow them to still be able to do that. If the defender is legal, which, is 2 feet on the floor facing their opponent, then we have to allow him to be able to do that. Back in 2015 or 16, every time a driver went to the basket and there was contact, it was normally a foul on the defender. Now we allow that defender, and we have what's called offense-initiated contact that we have to control so that that displacement does not happen. Our guys referee the defensive player, 90% of the time, because he's going to dictate where the offensive player is going to end up. And we've got to be able to control that contact of it. I think the game still has a great art because we have such very good jump shooters out there right now. And it's gotten better because our bigs can now take that 5 foot shot, whether or not it's in the lane or on the side, and make them. So I think it has changed the way the defenses are now set up. But again, the spacing of our game dictates a lot of this, which is why you see a lot of guards driving down the middle and throwing out to a 3-point shooter, because defenders come over. With the addition of the restricted area inside, it does not allow for somebody to just stand there and just protect the basket. They can't jump A to B into a shooter and cause contact without it being a foul call, which has helped us tremendously from where we were in 2015 and 16.
That coming from Bryan Kersey here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal studios. Bryan, you get to travel around for the ACC and get to see different things. Do you make it to every single one of the 15 arenas? I mean, how does your schedule kind of work out as far as an overall encompassing of the ACC?
I will see them all. I will see all the teams throughout the season. I hope to get to every arena that we have in the ACC. I do not travel on weekends because there's such or on Wednesdays because of the amount of games that we have, not only in the ACC but across the alliance. We don't know if I'm on a plane on Saturday morning and then I have a referee that is having travel issues. I would not get that, for an hour or so until I land. So I try to stay home on the weekends, and on Wednesdays I will get out on Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays and see some games. I will get to venues where we have more than one team playing in the preseason, where I can see, 3 or 4 of our schools playing at one time. So I will see them all live. It may not be in their arena, but it will give me the opportunity to visit with the coaches and go see them, see what their thought process is as we get going, so that they're comfortable with everything that's going on with us. And if they have any issues, of course they call from time to time. I've talked to almost all of our coaches since I left Charlotte again, and we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page going forward.
That coming from Bryan Kersey. Very excited about the upcoming season, Bryan. As things come up, we'd love to have you on and get to talk to you about it. What's home base like for you? Kind of my final thing here. What does it look like as a coordinator of officiating for men's basketball? You know, the technology and everything that you have. I've spoken with Dennis Hennigan about the football side of things of the ACC. What's home base? You know, what does it look like for you? Like you say, you don't travel on the weekends. There's a lot going on and whatnot. What are you seeing? What are you looking at? Does it, you know, do you have a place in the ACC that looks like the Matrix? I mean, what are we talking about as far as what your world looks like and what this what this ACC alliance as well kind of, you know, headquarters is for you?
Well, I mean, it's crazy. In the office I'm sitting in now, in my office in Newport News, I have 6 TVs, all set, which I will make sure they're all updated today while I'm here, all set to all of the streaming and channels that all of our teams play on throughout the entire alliance, whether it's ESPN, you know, ESPN Plus, Flow Sports, which the Colonial uses, Synergy, which the Big South uses. So any of those streaming places that I can watch games. I have 9 TVs in Greensboro, which I do not use until after Dennis is done because, you know, football is very, very busy on the weekends there. So I kind of hunker down here and have games going all day long, especially on Saturdays and on Wednesday nights. I have 3 TVs in my office at home that I can do the exact same thing on nights where we don't have many games. So I can see my wife every now and then. She knows that this week I will be right here in this office all week watching games. But, you know, and as soon as the game is over with, you know, I get all the games sent on my computer through DV Sport or through Synergy. And I have 8 angles on every play that happens. So I will sit here during games and write times down of plays that I want to go back and look at. When the games are over with, I go back and look at them, and I clip plays, send them to officials, create training videos, can send, you know, 2 or 3 plays, whether or not they're good or bad, from games, and voice over them so that they see them. They give me feedback. Coaches, of course, send plays as well, and referees send plays, you know, asking rules questions and stuff like that. So, you know, the good thing is our officials are very rules knowledgeable.
Yeah.
You know, they stay in the rule book. We have a lot of rules tests that we give them. So it's just crazy. I mean, it's crazy. Saturdays is usually 11 to 11 in here watching games, but it's, you know, ACC and Atlantic 10 and the Big East and all of our leagues are so much fun to watch that, I mean, there's a million people that would love the job I have, except for when the phone calls come in. I have the greatest job in the world to be able to have this opportunity to do it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Do you have the Jerry Lewis telethon from, you know, I mean, do you kind of look at because they want the phone to ring. They look at the phone, they want the phone to ring. You look at the phone on a Saturday going, please, God, don't ring. So
Please don't ring. I do that every day, though. I do it every day because I don't want it to ring at all. And, you know, it's just like, you know, this morning I got some text messages from coaches from plays during scrimmages that they had. You know, so, I mean, I got a text this morning from Tim Kraft at Gardner Webb asking about a play, if it was legal or not. I got a phone call last week from Jim Boeheim asking about plays. And it's just one thing after another. When we talk about them, I get their views on them. I get our views on them. And we all make each other better, and we move on. And it's working. And, again, the respect I have for all of these coaches in all of these leagues is tremendous.
What did Coach ask about? I'm interested in what Coach B was kind of focusing on as far as rules.
You know, his main thing is their spacing is so good. I mean, if you watch Syracuse play, they really space the ball, and they don't want to be impeded if they go to the basket. And that's a big thing with them. They want to be able to cut. They want to be able to go to the basket without getting a stiff arm. They want a player to be able to cut without being grabbed or without being knocked off of his path illegally. So that's all of it. And it's we discussed that numerous times. We discussed it in Charlotte when I was there. He gave me feedback based on his exhibition and his scrimmages that he's run there. That's what these guys do, is they give me feedback of what they're seeing on their side, which really makes it everything come to light. Because when you get the coach's thoughts and I give mine, then we come to an understanding, and it works out very well.
I like it. That coming from Bryan Kersey, the ACC coordinator of officiating for men's basketball. Bryan, as always, I appreciate your time. I value it so very much. You've been such a great sport. So the last thing that I will do is let you put me on the hot seat. You're an official. Your phone rings. Like you said, you don't want that phone to ring. Well, I'm going to sit here and inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, I'm going to let you ask me 2 questions. Anything in the world, I have to answer them. We played the game before. But because you've been such a great sport and because you get asked the questions, but you never get to really ask them back yourself, so to speak, I'm going to allow you to ask me 2 questions before we wrap things up here this morning inside the Cafe Kubal studios. So what do you got for me?
Well, I would ask you, when do you think a post defender, how long do you think he can leave a forearm in the back of an offensive post player?
A post defender, how long he can leave his forearm in the back of an offensive post player.
Correct.
I would say from me growing up and playing and what I've seen, we were taught that we could do that. We could put our forearm there. They're going to lean into us, and we try to set ourselves and prevent them from coming in. So I would say as long as we're not jabbing, we're not pushing, we're not reaching in, that you could lean that on. But I know that times have changed. So I know how I did it. What'd you say?
You can leave it on. You just can't extend it.
Yeah,
And once you face up, it has to come off.
Yeah, so the same thing that I was kind of saying there is that you can put that there, but you can't push. You can't extend it out. You can have it there as kind of a way to kind of stand your ground as a shield, but you can't push forward with it. And then, like you said, once you face off, you have to take it off. So I can understand that completely. Game hasn't changed that much, but yeah, I mean, they always had me as a point guard covering power forwards because I had coaches that just I guess wanted to test how high I could jump. And so whenever a guy would come into the paint, I would always lean there, but I know you can't jab them out. You can just keep your arm there. So I would say the game in that case hasn't changed that much. That's good to know.
And then the other thing would be, if you find yourself as a secondary defender in the restricted area, what can you do from that point to defend the play coming at you?
If I find myself in the restricted area as a second defender, what can I do at that point?
Correct.
So I got to picture this in my head now. See, I'm used to hey, what's your favorite movie and cereal? You know what I mean? And now I'm getting the phone call, Bryan. Now I'm on the phone.
We're going to enlighten the fans on what can happen in that area because, the thing is we have such great shot blockers in this league. And you have you for years have had great ones in Syracuse and throughout the ACC. But, secondary defenders find themselves in there and then they go and they jump. They have to jump straight up would be the answer I would give you.
Yeah.
They have to jump straight up. They have to go to protect the rim, really not to block the shot because a lot of these guys are going to be, bigs that are in there. And they go and they try to block the shot. And when they go to swat the shot, that's when they a lot of times make the contact. So the answer would be as long as they jump straight up to protect the rim, they're good.
Yeah.
We call it reach and re-reach, which means you reach up, but then you re-reach to go and block the shot and you make contact with the arm or you make contact with their body because you're jumping sideways. But that restricted area, it's a hard play for our officials because we have to pick the feet up. But, it's become an art. You know, you can go straight up and have body-to-body contact and be legal.
Yeah.
As long as you jump. If you stay grounded and there's contact, then it's a foul. And you know, the fans that are out there will look at it and see as it's not a lot of contact, but if a shooter comes down on somebody in that restricted area, it displaces them and messes up their shot. So we have to get fouls called on those.
Yeah, you know, and I think, and I appreciate that information there. I would say, you know, going back to it, if you're a secondary defender, you're in the restricted area, you're around the rim, you know, jumping straight up is what, you know, we were always taught from when I was a kid on. You know, you jump straight up because you can't. I mean, that always makes you look like, you know, you're kind of an innocent defender, so to speak, is to be straight up. But I would go to block the shot. You know what I mean? Like when I'm thinking about Fab Mello, rest in peace, and I'm thinking about, you know, Jesse Edwards and Craig Forth and all these guys at Syracuse and Jeremy McNeil and whatnot, I'm thinking you go after the shot. And you're saying, you know, in order for it to not be called a foul, you got to go straight up. You got to protect the rim, reach and re-reach. Where I would struggle to answer that question is that I would seek as the big man to go after the ball and not to protect the rim. I would seek to go after swatting that ball away. And that's where I think maybe I'm having those conversations with people such as yourself where I'm saying he blocked that ball and he like maybe grazed the guy's pinky, but it's called a foul. I struggle with that because, you know, I want to see those big time swats. And I feel like it's harder to do that now and not get called for the foul.
It is, and it's very difficult, which is, you know, that restricted area has changed the way the plays going to the basket are officiated. And again, but because of that, it has caused so much more spacing and has increased in three-point shot percentage because a lot of those shots are now open. And, you know, a three-point shooter can sit behind the line and wait on a pass of somebody going to the basket and knock those shots down. So it's created other opportunities, and our coaches have set their plays up to help those plays happen, because if they're going in there and Melo is in there jumping straight up, you think about how high he's going to get up. The guy's not going to get the shot off. He's going to throw it out to somebody, and they're going to knock down a three. So it's helped our scoring. It's helped, you know, our confidence. It's done a lot spacing wise for our game.
Do you think ultimately the restricted area has been a good thing or a not so great thing in its evolution in the world of basketball? Has the restricted area of what we see now, is it good for basketball? Does it make it more complicated? What's been your viewpoint as an official of what the restricted area has done?
I think it's done great things for our game because it's opened it up. You know, there was some talk of widening the lane, you know, once we made the restricted area a little bit bigger, which I thought was a mistake because our bigs can catch the ball on the block. And if they're moved out another foot and a half, then I think that would cause a problem because that's going to create another dribble, you know, as they make their move to the basket. They have really done a good job, our bigs, meaning our bigs, at catching the ball, taking a dribble, and being able to make that 3, 4, 5 foot, whether it's a hook or a shot or jump shot, whatever it is. I'd hate to move them out farther and make that now 6 feet, 7 feet, because they've done such a good job with spacing to help this. And I think that the restricted areas help them in that aspect.
Yeah, coming from Bryan Kersey here with us, ACC coordinator of officiating for men's basketball. Bryan, I appreciate your time as always. More than anything, I appreciate the connection that we've had over the years, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And so happy for you being a dad and a granddad and being able to celebrate that more than anything else. So I hope your phone doesn't ring unless it's a grandchild needing something.
Well, I can guarantee you on Wednesday somebody will call. So I am prepared for that. The phones will be charged.
Yeah, I'd be sitting there waiting for the phone and just be like, and have it pick up and go, Grandpa? But then Coach K would understand that, and Coach K would be calling saying Grandpa to catch you off guard. So
exactly right. It would be great. It would be great. But I appreciate you as well, and I appreciate all you do for our game.
Absolutely, Bryan. I'll talk with you soon.
Have a great day.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you. God bless. That coming from Bryan Kersey, once again, Atlantic Coast Conference Coordinator of Officiating for men's basketball. And we will take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, spending all that time with an official. That is something that I've never heard or seen anywhere else, to spend that amount of time with someone that's such a huge part of the game and that fans are consistently paying attention to, right? What the officials are calling and not calling. So, I hope that you've taken something from this today. I know that I definitely have, and I look forward to what it's going to mean as we step forward here and continue our relationship with Bryan Kersey and everybody that we get to talk to here on Wake Up Call. We'll take our final step aside of today's show. Under promise, over deliver. Brought you the show at 9 o'clock, and we're well past 11. We'll wrap things up right after this.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecabal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way over to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. so that you can enjoy all of their homemade breads, desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, brick oven pizzas, salads, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, the Millhouse Market is second to none when it comes to what they do for other local companies with their general stores selling their products, as well as their drive-through pickup window where you could just grab your food and go. An extremely user-friendly app on the Google Play or Apple App Store that's entitled Millhouse Market that will also give you directions to the Millhouse Market as you're ordering from wherever you are, and their indoor dining and bistro menu that changes every single weekend for their indoor dining, so you could try something new every week. A lot of great stuff always happening at the Millhouse Market. So make your way out there today to 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every time. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to give thanks to my incredible guest today, Taj Harris, for our exclusive sit-down conversation about his road to Syracuse, through Syracuse, and now on to Kentucky into his next chapter. And, of course, Bryan Kersey giving us a look inside of the world of officiating and all that means, and how Syracuse and Lemoyne connect with each other through the alliance that we have with the ACC, the NE10, and so many other conferences inside of America that Bryan Kersey gets to be a part of. So a lot of fantastic stuff coming from Bryan and from Taj, and of course from you. A big thanks to everybody that listens and watches the Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on facebook.com/LiveNowDT, as well as on mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com. After the show goes live, you can search it in the archives, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Podbean all have Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora's archives that are constantly updating. Check them out by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or Wake Up Call DT on any one of these platforms. And a special thanks to all of our partners in Central and Upstate New York: Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, where you can use the promo code anywhere in America and order kettle corn or any one of your favorites online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Use the promo code DT20 to get 20% off anywhere. Ordering in Texas, Alabama, California, New York, Florida, wherever you may be, go to maandpaspopcorn.com. Use the promo code DT20. That's DT20 for 20% off. Progressive Dental, Avocolis, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Lemoyne Dolphins, Pizza Man, Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, PB&J's Lunchbox, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboard. All proud partners of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as well as our multimedia marketing partnership that we're very happy to have with Lemoyne College. Love the fact that I have the opportunity to work with the Lemoyne Dolphins. Know that every single Wednesday is considered Dolphin time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We get to call that Dolphin time, and always excited to be able to do that with you here, happening Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, first and third Wednesday of every month. AD and DT, where I get the opportunity to speak with Athletics Director Bob Beretta about a bunch of different topics at Lemoyne College, and the second and fourth Wednesdays of each month with Dolphin Dive, where I have the opportunity to dive into stories featuring student athletes, coaches, and staff of Lemoyne, and telling us why they chose Lemoyne, what they think of their experience, and their entire journey. And it's always a beautiful thing to be able to speak with them, so I appreciate that so very much, and proud fins up to Lemoyne student athletes and students and faculty and everybody in administration there now, those that have been there as alumni, and those that will be coming to Lemoyne in the not too distant future. So big shout out to Lemoyne. Get all of our shows on the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also search Lemoyne on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and get everything there in the archive. And of course, you can go to LemoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of Marywood University with the Pacers. Check out Pacer Pride happening all throughout the month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and all of those specials available to you on the Marywood tab of wakeupcalldt.com, as well as on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Get to know your Marywood Pacers coaches, student athletes, and more, as well as their executive director of athletics, Pat Murphy, by going exclusively to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and clicking subscribe, and subscribing to wakeupcalldt.com and clicking on the Marywood tab. Find more information at marywoodpacers.com. Thank you all for tuning in to today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. From inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, this is Wake Up Call. You see it right here with the coffee cup and the sun rising out of it. That's the logo designed by John Granquist of Marywood University and put on all of our amazing apparel by Mark Products in Syracuse, New York, so make sure you check them out today. thank you for being here. Find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And as always, God bless.